In this video I'll explain parts module of Smart Motor Company Information System. I've already entered the username and password for the parts module, and depending on the access level granted for the operator, the relevant screens will be displayed in this grid. This is the module that the operator has access to, and these are the screens that the administrator has allowed access to this operator. The first keyword we see in the menu is requisition. Now requisition is a screen which is also accessible from services module. It's because the services department requires different parts from the parts department, and instead of printing or writing down the items, the data is entered into the system, where the parts department can use this information to prepare an invoice and also find out what parts are required. So let's have another look at requisition screen. Here we enter the data, the repair order number, the worker who is involved, who is placing the requisition, the item that is required. You know, if the reason quantity and unit price are fields are added here is so that the operator can calculate the value for any reason, and then once the requisition is accepted, we want to know who actually moved it to the services department from the parts department. So this information, once entered, is taken as a request from the services department to the parts department, and the parts department can then prepare its invoice, provided all those items or some of those items in the requisition form are available in the parts department. So the operator in the parts department will enter the date, the requisition ID, and we can see a list of what are requisitions. This is just dummy data that I have entered to test the system, and it is right now being tested by live operators, and we are going to see if any issues or bugs come up, and we are going to rectify this. So anyway, if we select one, it is automatically should be able to pick up all the items that are requested in that requisition. Now we can select the dealer, which in this case will be, if I have selected requisition, this has to be the services department. In any other case, this can be an outsider, a debtor who is a service, who is a parts debtor, and we can select any of these individuals. But if there is a requisition ID, then it has to be service department. It should not allow selection of a different kind of dealer. I'm not going to enter data into this. And then we have parts purchase invoice, where actually is used, this screen is used to add these items that are selected into this in this screen to the respective store. So you can have multiple stores. It can, you can do the same thing, select the dealer from whom the purchases were made. You can get a printout. Once the items are entered into this is taken as in the stock register, and I'm not going to save this too. Then we have parts journal. In case there is any other activity that we could not cover in purchase and sale, we can cover it here. So we actually can make our own types and indicate whether this is this is an out from the store, or whether this is an in to the store. So mama, So the parts journal is used to capture any kind of transaction that is substandard, that is out of the standard operations. The parts item is the screen where the user can enter a new part or edit, change, modify an old part. We have parts accounts where the department is supposed to take care of all its accounting entries, and a number of reports have been provided here, as we can see on the screen, and all of these are accessible based on the time range that we see here and the subsidiary. So let's say if I select accounts ledger and I press, what I'll do is get rid of this. I don't want to enter any data, and I'll select some date. And let's say I select accounts. So all of the ledgers that are available in this, see, we have to allow the pop-ups the first time, and the system can automatically then print out and here we can see, since there is no data in that time period, the journal ledgers are empty. But then this can be saved and used, emailed, printed, it can be printed. So let me get back to the menu, and then we have item categories, which we saw earlier in one of the screen, and we can select and customize item categories ourselves. Stock taking is a screen where the end of the month or whatever the time period stock is taken to compare against the figures that we have in the system. And finally the dealers, we can enter the number of any number of dealers that we are supposed to, and you can see that all of my activity was tracked here. And with this I conclude the parts module. This system can be used by a trader, a parts trader, can be used by anybody who deals in some kind of item.